Hey everybody, this is Nichols. I'm just coming to you with a little bit of a video, just kind of talk about some stuff real quick. I think 2020 has been a pretty shit year, and so far it's kind of like not getting any better for a lot of people. The guy on the screen will tell you that, that's for damn sure. But it's almost as if this year's just kind of shit on everybody. It came out of nowhere. The whole coronavirus thing is kind of like dampening people's spirits and stuff. And personally, I think that a lot of people are having a hard time dealing with the situation that they're put in. I personally have had some issues with where I'm at, like in life, and figuring it all out and deciding on what I want to do, deciding on what's best for my next choices that I make in my life. But at the same time, real life circumstances kind of take you away to other places. I have recently just had to move out of state. I lived in California my entire life, and now all of a sudden I had to move halfway across the U.S. So I'm just like out of place, out of touch, I guess you could say. And it just come to my attention recently that even though I want to play video games, and that's been my biggest passion ever since I was a little kid, it's just really hard for me to get into something particularly right now. I don't know how many other people have that same issue at this moment. Like maybe it's a really, I mean, I'm pretty sure it is a very, very common thing. And then also, it's probably has to do with my own personality type. If you ever done the Myers-Briggs personality test, I came out to be an INTP, which is a very like analytical, logical kind of person, and sometimes I overthink things. So a lot of times I overthink things actually. Like it's almost constantly I'm overthinking about whatever my choices in life or whatever it is that I plan on doing. Um, it kind of makes you stuck in place sometimes, like as if you're thinking too much and you're not making the actions to actually make something happen. So I've been having that issue recently. Now, playing games has definitely been one of my go-tos for the longest time since I was a little kid. I used to always use it as like an escapism, or not necessarily to escape things when I was young, very young, mostly because I just enjoyed playing the games. We had a Nintendo growing up, and the Nintendo was like my best friend. I guess you could say it wasn't really like my best friend, but I mean, I've had other friends outside of Nintendo or whatever system it was out at the particular time, through school, through whatever Boy Scouts, other different groups and stuff that I knew about. But the biggest part has been trying to capture that feeling of like a feeling of just wanting to be there and wanting to be involved in a brand new story or brand new adventure. It seems like nowadays I start a game and it's like I just can't stay focused on it. I can't keep my mind and my attention on the story. Like I can, but at the same time, it's like there's something in the back of my mind like I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be maybe making content. So one thing I've really trying to push myself on is actually trying to produce content for a channel on YouTube or do something, because with being now 33 years old, it's like I want to show that I have a passion about games. I see so many people being able to express how they feel about video games or be able to make all these great videos and stuff, and I go on YouTube and it's kind of like discouraging in a way where you see all these people who have the success levels that are like almost ridiculously high, and it seems all about like personalities. Like people want to find personalities that match what they are familiar with or match what makes them laugh and makes them happy or whatever it may be. At the same time, I kind of just don't see I don't see there's not like a real passion for me to want to go out there and do the same exact thing that everybody else is doing. Like everybody else is doing reactionary stuff and getting all crazy hyped about whatever else they're excited about. And yeah, I get excited about all this stuff too. Like I've been into games for 30 years now. I've been playing since I was like 3 years old. So there's certainly a reason that I want to be there and a reason why I want to make the content. It's just, I guess, like a depression, I guess you could say. Like, I think a lot of people right now are struggling with depression. Like I was talking about earlier in the video, 2020 has been a pretty shit year for everybody, I think. And myself, no exception. So, other than having to move, it's just been the mentality of knowing like everybody I knew, everybody I know, it's just like nowhere near me, like 2,000 miles away pretty much. And I just have no connection here right now. Like I have yet to really meet people. I've yet to really try to go out and do anything. Kind of like secluded myself a little bit. Luckily, how I'm staying with family in the house that we're staying in is like it's a little small townhouse. The place I live now, there's maybe like 1,000 something people that live in the town that I live in. So it's a very small community compared to growing up in like Long Beach. I was born in Compton and just grew up in LA area my entire life. So coming from that to this, and then I had a job that I was at for about 13 years, and I really enjoyed the coworkers. I really enjoyed the people that I worked with and stuff like that. And the job itself was always, I liked it. I just liked it what it was. I was a server at a restaurant for the longest time, and I was planning on moving into management in the near future. But I had to just up and leave out of almost nowhere because of the situation that I was in at that time was kind of like extremely toxic to the point of being physically harmfully dangerous to myself, and I wouldn't want to get into that stuff right now. This is kind of just talking about me and wanting to get into video games again. Like I have 900 games on Steam, like over 900 games on Steam. I have, consoles. I have the Switch and all this other stuff. Like I'm certainly a gamer at heart. It's just that sitting down right now and actually gaming has really put a damper on me in the sense that I can't do it right. Like I can't just dedicate myself. I feel like I should be doing something else. And I think that is also part of the problem. I think that sometimes we push ourselves to tell other people that we want this or we want that, and in reality we kind of like don't even know what we want ourselves in a way, or either we don't know what we want or we don't know how to achieve what we want. So here I am just playing this Monster Train game, and I'm not actually playing it right now. This is just a video of when I was playing it, and it was giving me, just thoughts and ideas about how I interact with my life. How I choose to do what I want to do, how I choose what my next step is in life is, because just like a card game, every step you choose can be selected in a sense where, like, for example, in the game right there, I just chose a card to put into my deck. So you can choose something that you want to have as a reservation for yourself to kind of like fall back on. Say, even it's a sense of figuring out what game you want to stream or what game you want to play or whatever. Like it's as simple as that. Like having the option of that is one thing, but having it pop up into your mind or pop up into your hand of cards, like at that particular moment, is not always what life has intentions for. So sometimes you have to really just like sit down and think about it. Sometimes you have to mull it out a little bit and figure out where you're going. And right now I feel like I'm just like not really going anywhere. I feel like I'm just kind of here. And I think that's a good way to feel in a sense, because some people just feel disenchanted. Some people feel as if what they're doing in life is bad for them or something, or they feel as if they're trying to do something and they're failing at it and they're failing at it. Right now I don't feel necessarily that way. I feel as if I'm not trying hard enough to commit myself to something, and I don't think it's an issue of commitment. Like, it's not like I'm scared of commitment or anything like that necessarily. It's just that my mentality is stopping me from pushing forward and doing things. Um, I think it all just rolls back to having that depression and having that time to mull over the depression and letting things get to me too much because of the situation that happened for me. I kind of have a lot of unresolved issues and unresolved um, hangups about why I had to leave California. And so I just feel as if I'm still trying to win that fight, even though it's not even a fight, even though technically where I'm at right now is better for me. I I have shelter, I have food, I have family and stuff, and that's really what matters in the long run is having stability, having something to, have a daily routine, wake up and do this, or wake up and, make yourself a cup of coffee, read a newspaper or whatever. Not read some Reddit, not a newspaper, whatever you do to get your gears going in the morning. Because currently I don't have a job out here. I just barely got here not long ago, and I'm still trying to figure out like, am I gonna try to do a traditional random job out here in the middle of nowhere, or am especially during the middle of fucking coronavirus 2020 where people are losing their jobs left and right and there's hardly work for half of the jobs that were created have like been destroyed in a sense, like they've been put under wraps. You have restaurants that can't open right. You have places that can't run at full capacity. Hours are cut for a lot of people, I'm sure, and it's just a cycle. It keeps going over and over because we're just not getting our shit straight here in America. There's a lot of problems that we have besides COVID. There's deep-seated issues with racism and hate and injustice and the way the police are and all this other stuff that's happening out there. And we're not really able to fix it, right? We're not really able to make the steps that we need to make, even because of the fact that we are just closed in. We're separated from everybody. In a sense, so in my mind, it's like a double-edged sword where, yeah, coronavirus is hurting us in one way, but it's also cutting deep down into the core of the problem where sometimes we do need that time to reflect and to figure out where we're going. And if we waste too much time doing that, yeah, it's an issue. We shouldn't waste too much time doing those things, but we should take that time. We should do that for ourselves and for the people around us, because if we don't, then we kind of just keep making the same wrong choices, or we keep trying to rush ourselves through life and stuff. And I think that's where my biggest hang up is that I felt rushed for so long, like especially there in California and there in LA. Like it just feels with all the people around you like nonstop. It's just a fast pace of life. That's the way it just literally feels. Like you don't have to actually be living a fast paced life, but with that volume of people around you, I feel like there's some type of like energy that people put off. And and the more people you have around each other, the more energy that is being pushed into the atmosphere in a sense. But here in a small town like this, it feels less stifling. It feels like I can breathe. And yeah, I've suffered from a lot of things like anxiety and stuff, and social pressures and everything like that, where I kind of like secluded myself from people for a long time. And I appreciate the job that I had as a server for the aspect that it brought me out of that shell of being able to go up and talk to people a lot more often. Because yeah, as a little kid, I was always the one to go find friends and go run up to people who were playing and be like, hey, let me play, hey, let me do this, like let me join in. And as you get older, you go through life and things kind of change for certain people. Like I was, of course, not of course, but I was bullied because of certain things in my life here and there. And you change. You can't always just stay the same. But if you carry that weight with you, it makes it very difficult to change, or the change that you go through is still attached to that trauma that you kind of dealt with. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out what's best for me. I really want to learn what kind of content is popular, what kind of content I should make, what kind of content I'm capable of making. Um, Again, looking at all these people's videos online and being a YouTuber, not YouTuber, but being someone who has consumed YouTube content for a very long time, it gives me almost like it makes me almost feel like not even really wanting to go in and try, in the sense that people are just so far ahead in my mindset. Like, how could I do that? How could I be doing the same things that these people are doing, um, knowing that I'm so far behind? I have not tried to increase my talents in when it comes to video editing, or when it comes to photoshopping or anything like that in any form. I've spent a lot of my time just living life in the real world, and then also getting good at games like that are competitive games and stuff, because a lot of my gaming that I've done over the past several years has been geared towards like multiplayer online competitive gaming and stuff, because really have always had that dream that I could get into esports and be like a professional player, or one day I would like to coach a team of like esports players and help them with their psychology and help them out with their understanding of where they are and who they are, and how they can work together as a team better, instead of just being purely about a game. I would like for it to be about helping people who are good at games, if that makes sense, because most of the time people who are good at games are not necessarily good at life, because uh, life has a whole different set of rules than video games do, that's for sure. And if you don't follow them, it could end you up into a place where you had no idea that you would ever even be. Because if you try your hardest to do one thing, and then all of a sudden that thing doesn't either pan out, or you just haven't had the correct opportunities to get there or to achieve that success, then all of a sudden you have to start looking at your other plans. And my other plans right now have kind of just all went to shit having to move out of California right now. So I'm stuck in my own mindset, having to come up with a whole new solution to the problem. And the problem is not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm still gonna be stuck here. I'm still gonna be doing what I'm doing. Whether that be skulking, or whether that be creating content, whether that be bettering myself. Learning more guitar, for instance. Like I brought my guitar from California, and I kind of slacked on the longest time. I went to school in college and took music classes and stuff, and I got really good at it for a while. I wouldn't say really good at it. I got talented at it for my own self. Like, in my opinion, I was getting better. But the more that time that passes by with that, the less you feel like as if you want to do those things. So I think with that, I can kind of cut the video a little bit, and we can start, from there. Because I got a long road to go, and if I try to run the marathon without actually training for the marathon first, it's going to end up in a bad situation for myself. And not to call YouTube a marathon, but if you do start creating content on YouTube and you do start making some forms of success, there is a sense of like, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep pushing, just strive better and better and better and get more and more and more. And not that I'm not speaking out of greed in any way at all. What I'm speaking out of is sustainability. Because if I can't sustain a productive channel, and I can't do what I want to do, then I won't be able to achieve the goals that I have set for myself. Which, would be essentially to get into the gaming scene, in the sense where I have people who I'm helping, I have people who are helping me, I have people who want to be involved in whatever I'm doing, instead of me just wanting to be involved in what they're doing. And so it's a road we got to go, but I mean the road's paved, the cars are out there traveling already, and if I don't step in line and do what I gotta do, then things aren't gonna end up satisfactory for me. So I plan on creating some more videos and creating more content for the channel in the near future, but right now I just kind of want to start off with a brief little thought process of what I had behind everything. I just kind of had some stuff on my mind and I need to put something out, because if I don't start somewhere, then I don't start, right? So if anybody's listened to it, if anybody's cared, if anybody has any issues or anything that they would like to talk about, go ahead and post in the comments, leave a like, subscribe if possible, because yeah, it's looking pretty shady right now. It's not too many things I have going on, so I'd be more than happy to reply to anybody in my inboxes or in my comment section or anything like that. If you're a gamer too and you like playing games, I have, like I said, about 900 different games on Steam. I have plenty of other games to go around, and I plan on posting content with all kinds of stuff. I would like ideas about maybe what I should do, what I could do. I would like to post stuff with people playing co-op games and everything like that. I have plenty of friends online still, but I kind of reset my whole online persona, where on most of my friends lists I actually like deleted everybody off of them. Sorry, I actually deleted like everybody off of my friends and stuff, because I really wanted a fresh start. I really wanted to kind of like, at that time when I did it, I really want that fresh start where I kind of just got rid of all my ties and all my acquaintances and kind of just went off into start a new thing, because at that moment I felt like I was going on a brand new adventure, and kind of that's what ended up happening. I mean, that is what it is, but it's not necessarily what I should have done. I shouldn't have deleted like almost everybody. I should have left more key people around, I think, because right now I'm just in that situation where I'm having to meet people in games and meet people and stuff like that online, which is not an issue for me. I've been playing games for 30 years, and like I said, most of my since teenage years and stuff have been, my gameplay has been geared towards multiplayer. So I've always been in different clans and groups. So it's always really easy for me to find people to talk to online. In that sense, I have people who, you know, just the other day I was playing Overwatch, and I have a really good buddy that I've started playing with here and there. But I just gotta nurture those relationships and try to make them better, because I think that a lot of people go through this whole gaming and online stuff, not realizing the implications of the future. Because if we cut out too many people from our personal lives and the things that we do, then we leave less space for us to have connections outside of it. And the connections outside of it are important. And if we don't have enough connections outside of video games, it's really easy to spiral off into your own mindset and to get kind of caught up in doing things that are depressing, because of the fact that you just don't have people to support you. You don't have those friends that kind of fall back on and say, hey, you know what, like, you're not feeling good right now, like, come over, like, hang out, let's go to the movies, let's go do this, let's go do that, let's go out to a restaurant. And 2020 has been a shit year for that too, because you can't really, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't really be getting close to too many people, considering, you know, you could get yourself sick, you could get somebody else sick, you could spread the disease to a friend or a relative, or same thing that I said previously. But just this whole year just been garbage. And with that, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and end the video. But again, like I said, like, subscribe, leave comments, let's get some talking going so I can get some videos going. This is Nichols, nub slash nub puppy slash eclipse of the cortex. Signing out. I'll catch you next time.